Welcome to everybody. I appreciate your patience in getting on the conference call and the system. I'm Sharon with Parts123, and we're going to step through the new Bluebird Parts and Service system. And please treat this as an informal training. If you want to ask questions, that would be fine. What I'm going to show you, this is the first screen. This is the login screen as it looks now. And I want to point out something from the very beginning on minimum system requirements. And we have something here that shows you in terms of a web browser what we recommend as the browser that performs the best with the new system, because we're leveraging some new technology and things, and sometimes a browser may not work as well with it. And unfortunately, i.e., some of the versions of Internet Explorer are not as flexible with the new technology, not just our system, but any kind of new system using a new feature. So anyway, Google Chrome, somebody's trying to get in and they're not going to be able to, so there we go. Google Chrome is our primary recommendation, and it's a free piece of software. It comes through Google. If you go to google.com, there's a button to download Chrome for free. And that's the one I'm going to be using today, so just to show you that's our highest recommendation. We will run under Internet Explorer. We will run under Mozilla Foxfire and Apple Safari as well. So those are kind of new. Then we show you what the settings have to be on your browser, and we show you the PDF readers and other software that we use. So that's available on the front screen. If you or others at your shop have questions, you can always look at that. And it's available once you get on as well. So I've got a user ID and password here. And it also tells you at this point, attention dealers, once you've logged into the new system, the old system will no longer be available. Because we don't want confusion. Once you've moved over to the new system, we don't want people going back and forth. So we want you to kind of commit. And you'll see that the new system is pretty self-explanatory. It has new features, but they're all labeled on the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the new system. And here is our new default screen. And this is what we call the search screen. And you'll see that we still have the layout of the header information. It says, here's the last system update date. Here's the logged in account. And this is our main menu as it goes across the top, just like what you're used to. And as you put your cursor over one of the main menu buttons, there's a cascade below it showing you the options that are available. So today I'm logged in as a dealer so that you can see the screens that you will see when you're using the system. So also you'll notice this search screen looks a little bit different in terms of layout because we have a portion of the screen over here on the left. It says standard, and that refers to category and subcategory searches. There's a catalog application search, and there's a fast finder. I'm going to step through all of these. You can also collapse that portion of the screen by using little arrows, and that gives you more room on the main screen if you're going to do a part number search or description or work with BOMs and that kind of thing. So you can have that showing or not, depending upon how you want to use the system. So I'm going to show you, I'm just going to start with some basic things. I'm going to put in a part number search. And you'll notice we have the auto-suggest feature working as we did in the other system. So it'll start giving you suggestions as you key in the number. And when it comes up, you'll see that we go directly to the detail information screen for the part number that we put in. The same kind of thing that happens on your current system. But you'll see that it rolls down. Now, this particular example is non-stop because they want you to call for price and availability. But all the same information is on the main part of the detail information screen. And it has part notes, and part notes can be added on the system. If you add a part note and you're a dealer, then everybody who's at your dealer account can see those part notes. And that would include if you have branch locations. If all those branches are associated as a family of accounts, then everybody in that group can see the notes. If Bluebird puts in the note, then everybody who uses the system can see the note. And as we scroll down, you'll see we have a section here for associated items. Then there are parent items, and that refers to an assembly, and child items, which refer to the components that make up the assembly. And below that, you'll see it says applications. We come down and we see the application. Here's the PS number, and you'll see here's the products, the group, all the drill down information about this. This is the page set notes. Here are the tips, and you can add application notes. And the application notes work the same way. If Bluebird puts them in, everybody can see them. Now, if you want to save this image, if you come up and put your cursor over this where it says PDF, you can click to view it, or you can right-click to save the image. So that's how you would capture a copy of the image. But if you scroll down, here's the diagram, and if I use this plus sign, it will enlarge the image, and I can hit it as many times as I want to. Then I can also bring my cursor over here to the drawing itself, and I can move it around so I can see what I'm looking for. And then as I scroll down further, these are the part numbers that refer back to the image. Now, if they're available to be ordered, you see you have the add button here, so I could put in a number 1 and add it to my cart from here. And the information down here includes the key, if you have the keys in your database for these images, and the part number itself, quantity, description, price, unit of measure, pipeline, if that information is available, will show here, quantity on hand, and then the add button. So if I put my cursor over like this circle with a line through it, it pops up a definition for you. Non-stock parts cannot be added to the cart. And that's why you don't have the box on those line items. So if I'm finished looking at this section, I can hit the up arrow, and it's going to collapse that section. And I can scroll back up to the top. So that's how it looks if I put in a specific part number, and it goes to the detail information page. Now from this screen, I can enter another part number here, or I could come to this next field over and I can put in a description. And I can put in multiple words. So if I wanted to put in cooling system, I've used it before, so it pops up in memory, but I'm going to key it in, and I'm going to click the go button. And now it returns 26 records that meet the criteria of containing both words, cooling system. And you'll notice that the words are bold in a different color, and you also see what you put in up here so you can remember what you entered. Now this screen is what we call a generic search return screen. So we didn't go to the detail information page, and you'll see here that we have the part number, description, here's how we get to the detail view. We have price, unit of measure, quantity on hand, pipeline, quantity discount, cross-reference, and then the purchase area. I wanted to point out, too, that on the column, if the header is underlined, and you put your cursor over it, it'll say sort by part number in this case. I come over to description, sort by description. So if one of the headers of any of these columns happens to be underlined and it's a live link, if you click on this, then it's going to reorder the search return. And in this case, it put it in alphabetical order by description. So you'll see throughout the system, when we have online reports, several of those reports have columns that will allow you to sort. So that's how it looks if we want to put in a part number or a word description search. Now I'm going to reset this, and I'm going to show you over here where it says standard. This is going to allow me to come down and look at the category list. So if I come down and I select a category like I'm going to pick lights and lens, when I click that, it's going to open up all of the subcategories that go with the category I opened. And you'll see that I could say show all. And if I click that, it's going to show me everything in the inventory that has a category of lights and lens. But if I want to refine that, and I want to come in and just pick a section of that, I'm going to go down to miscellaneous lights. That gives me the 11 records that are that match the criteria and subcategory that I selected. So then I can go to the detailed view of any one of these and pop it open from here. And I can search for applications. And I can select an application number from here and open it up. And here's my image. Move the image around. I can size it. And then here are the part numbers that I can order. So that's how that roll down works. But now what I can do is I can come back over here, and let's say I want to go to fog lights, and I can change that. I can bounce around. So that's how it looks to use a category, subcategory search from this listing. List. So if I click the header again, it closes up the subcategory. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here and just show you, do a little change here. I'm going to come over and click Bill of Materials Search. And you'll notice here it says, here's where you put in the number, but you can use a full or partial body number, chassis number, VIN, or service number. So any of those numbers that you have can be used. And you'll see it gave me an auto-suggest. So as I enter the number, it's going to give me a list. And it narrows down, and I'm going to go ahead and select this one. Now you'll notice it also drew categories and subcategories, and now they're going to refer to this bill of materials search, not to the entire inventory. So the first thing that comes up is going to be the header information. And this has to do with the entire group, body service number, chassis, who the customer was that these were built for. If there was a EPS for this, there would be a link here. It would say yes, and you could bring that up. Now you'll notice too it says BOM list. And if I click that, it's going to bring up a listing, and I think this is like what you have in your B-Bond system. So you scroll through and you can look at these. Okay. And these are an alphabetical listing. And you can click these open from here. Drill down, whatever you want to do with that. I went one too far when I hit that back button, so I'll come right back in. Okay, and that's how the BOM list looks. But if you want to, you can come down here and you can say, you can enter a part number, you can put in a description, or you can click the Go button. And I can ask for body and chassis, body only, or chassis only. In this case, I'm going to let it be both, and I'm going to click Go. And I get 1,577 records. So here's everything to go with this bill of materials body number. then I could sort this, in this case, by superseded part number or by description if I needed to. And I could, from here, put in even a description or a part number. But I could also come over here and say I wanted to look at a category. I could select doors and come down and say entrance. And here's the 139 records that refer to entrance doors that go back to this bill of material search.
And as long as the body or VIN number in there, and you're using that other screen, that is still VIN specific, correct?
Yes, it is. It sure is. And then I can go ahead and kind of move around, and I can go back to instruments or frame or anything else. And it's going to just stay with reference to this number. Or I could come over here and I could
list from here.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Like when you were in the doors, we get an exploded view of the parts themselves, like a picture of all the parts on the door?
Yeah, I'm going to go back and bring that
up. Or is it just all descriptions?
Well, I could say show all doors, and then you would open one of them, one of these detail views.
Right. And that will give us a picture of the parts breakdown.
Yeah. It would drill down, like we did before.
Awesome. So if you want to see your picture and stuff, make sure that when you're selecting doors, you go down to whichever door you're working on. For example, entrance. If you click the entrance over there, it's going to bring you up a picture of your entrance door. Also, it'd be the entrance door assembly on that bus.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything for you.
What we try to do is to bring everything together in one place, so it's easier for you to find your information. All right, so that's how the bill of material search is working today and some of the enhancements that we've made. Now I'm going to come back over here, and if I want to go back to another option, all I do is uncheck bill of materials, and I'm back to the whole screen.
Now, what would happen if we hit the back button all the way at the top left? Does that clear everything out?
Yes, you come back to your default screen when you hit the back button.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can, and then just come back into where you were. But that's
I'm saying if you're in the middle of looking something up and you want to go back one screen, you don't hit the back button because it'll clear everything out, right?
Right.
Okay.
Let me show you here. Yes.
And while Sharon's typing that in and we're getting there, guys and gals, just the terminology that's used in this system, because we basically took that service parts catalog and P-Bond and Parts123, jammed them all together. So the terminology has not been redefined. So, we used an example the other day at the training seminar of an ignition switch. You still go after the ignition switch through the steering column module. Okay? It's not defined out any further than it's been up until this point. It's just the three systems in one.
In the future, is that going to be worked on?
Yes.
I know it's not number one priority, but if
I'd like to see it number one, but yeah, we're all realists here.
See both, but
Yeah. Back to you, Sharon.
Okay, thank you. I want to show you, I put in bumper as a way to do a search, and I've got 15 items. And say that I want to then come over here and I'm going to look at transmission. I'm just as an example here. Okay, so now I've got the transition thing. If I hit clear, it's going to take me back. It doesn't take me all the way out of the BOM search. So instead of coming up here to the back arrow, if you just hit clear, then it steps you back one step. And then you can put in a part number, description, or pick another category or whatever you want to do from there.
Thank you. Question, I'm sorry to interrupt, but question, when you just clicked on transmission, it gave you a list of
transmissions, it didn't give you the one specific to this unit, did it? Am I looking at that correctly?
Let me go back.
That's correct. You almost still need to, you almost have to go into description, type in transmission, to get your transmission to come up to know which one of these to select on the left side. That's probably one of the crazy things that, you know, is not really defined, because you would think if you're in the body number and you come down to the left side and select this, that it would only bring up the transmission for the unit that you're on.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's one of the things I noticed as well.
Right. And here's where I keyed in transmission, as opposed to selecting it from the category list.
Right, so now if you needed, the hoses and such that go with it, it's the second line down tells transmission hours and 3,000 PTS. So you could come back over here and click the transmission category, and then go looking for your 3,000 PTS. With that one, and that should give you the components that go with that.
Gotcha.
Good question. Okay, I'm going to go back out of the BOM search at this point, and please ask any questions whenever you want to. We can go back and look at it. But in this case, I'm going to show you there's standard, which we talked about, category and sub, but we also have catalog application. And in this case, it's going to say what you want to find, and I'm going to say page set. And if I have a page set number and say it's PS000057, I don't have to do all that. All I have to do is put in the 57 and click go. And now it's going to start prompting me, and I can select things. So I'm going to say the type and continue, and then I'm going to say body, 360, black, 28.9, series 1, go. And here's the resulting, and it shows you everything that you put in, so you know what you're looking at. And here it comes up, here's the PS number, it's got the page set notes, you can get to application notes, here again's your image, and your...
Sharon, it looks like our screens are stuck where you type, okay, here it's coming.
Is it coming?
Here it's coming, yeah. But the only thing I was thinking about after we did the other training, if you can roll your screen up just a little bit.
Sure.
I'm thinking we got two separate things going on here. If we're finding a page set and we type in 57 in that page set and we hit go at that point, it should bring us up to page set number 57. And then the secondary thing is if we're going catalog application to start selecting all the other stuff. I mean, it almost seems like what I thought you say is hit page set 57 and then start coming down and selecting everything else to the assumption that it's all related.
No, you're right, and I should have stopped. I should have stopped there. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to hit clear, and I'm going to come up here and put in the 57. And here's the page set 57 result.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't misunderstand, and thank you.
No, I appreciate the question. Yeah, if I go back to just the 57, and I go ahead and I can pump this because it's a really small image, so I can make it big and see what I want, and then here's the drill down of the 57. So then I can leave that alone or bring it back up. And then what I should have said, once you're done with that, then you can come down here. You can also do a drill down view. So that's what I did when I did the A1. And then, did the result of all these selections. That's separate from the 57.
Right.
And,
okay.
And you'll see, yeah. And here's the result here. Now that brings up the 4248, the result of all these.
Right. And for you guys and gals that have been using the system, some of you guys reached out to the CSRs and they say, hey, go into your system and punch in page set 4248. that's where you're going to come up here. You're going to hit the clear reset, go up to the PS, and type in the 4248, and then hit go, and then you get the page set that Scott or Mike or whoever has given you.
See, that's all you need is the page set. If you didn't have the page set and you wanted to drill down, that's when you do the selection. But yeah, you can just put in any page set number.
Question about the drill down real quick. Can you go back in and change a groove once you've already gotten to the end of the drill down, or do you have to start all over again like you did with the CD?
No, and you can do that. I'll bring this real quickly. I'll bring it back up and show you. That's part of why it leaves it all on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and get to a result and then show you how it works. Okay. Now we've got a result. But say I want to come back over here and change it. If I click the plus, then I can select a different one of these.
Beautiful.
And then it starts giving me the selections that go with that. But wherever I start, see that all I needed was that, and I hit go, and boom. And then I open up whichever one of these I want to look at.
And as you'll notice, you get multiple page sets on a search, just like you did searching on a page set number. Like I said, you got to keep in mind that it's all the same information we have. So you may have to go to each of those 3 page sets to really find the part that you're looking for. In some cases, that's just the same way you did in the service parts catalog. So.
And it doesn't hurt you to try different things when you're in it. If you want to so whatever spot you want to change, you don't have to go up to product or any of these. I can come all the way down to H4 and make that different. Okay. So that's your standard and your catalog application over here. Now the other one that's left here is the Window Kits Fast Finder. I'm going to show you this one here. There is also a seat cover Fast Finder. And the reason that one is not on the front screen is that the window kit parts are in the PDC inventory. And the seat covers are going to be found under Bessie and CE White. So those are under their dropship catalog. That's the only reason they're in different places. But if I click on the window Fast Finder, it's going to give me a little, few instructions here. And the first thing it says is click one of the 4 tabs at the bottom. So these are the 4 tabs it's talking about. I'm going to click on horizontal. And then again, I can pick these. Okay. And here's my result. That's going to give me all the kits that make up what I put in the drill down for. So I could go over here to the switch kit and bring that up. And if I'm finished looking at this portion, I come back to the summary view. But if I come back over now to Fast Finder, it's going to take me right back to where I was. So I can bounce back and forth. I can look at another kit. Open applications, do whatever I want. If I come back over to Fast Finder, that steps me back to one step and allows me to keep working with this area. I can also go directly to this, drill down from there.
So Tom, now
those of you that are my guys, you know that in the CD version of the Fast Finder, you can select your window type from the 4 tabs at the bottom, and then where the part number is, that disappears. In this one, when you select the horizontal push out down here at the bottom, you get a search box that comes up just underneath where the picture is. If you want to click that, Sharon, and then because essentially you're going to go to the service parts list, or in this case the bill of material, and you're going to grab the part number for the window, and you can type the part number for the window in there, just like you do in the current catalog, and it will break that thing down for you. Instead of having to make all the selections over to the left side when you may or may not know what series you have.
Right, we give you multiple ways to get at it, whatever makes more sense for you.
Tom, are you going to be coming around setting this up for us?
I sent you a link in the notice with all the information. You click the link, which will take you to this web page, is Parts123.Bluebird, or Bluebird Resource 2013 deal. And when you log in, you're going to use the existing login that you have. And you'll get right to it. There's nothing fancy to install, nothing crazy to do with it. But I will be coming around the next time I make my rounds to everybody, and I will go over this with you just in case there's questions or comments, or you guys play with it. I'm sure that we're going to end up with comments and thoughts and everything else with it, so that'll be fine.
Okay, a couple of things that I want to show you still on this screen. There are buttons as you had before, but this is how you get to your specials. So if there are promotions that are running, they can have a begin and end date, and during that time they're going to show up as a special with their pricing. There's 41 of these. I can come over here to clearance. Item said the price is good until the inventory is gone. And new items. And Bluebird defines new, I think it's 30 days, when it's the first 30 days of the inventory is new. Another difference on this main screen, just to point out, there's a little running total of your cart on this main screen, so you don't have to get into the shopping cart details. So you can kind of glance up here and say, I've got this many items at this total dollar amount. And then you can come over here, though, and we'll go down to the cart and look at the details too in a minute. But that's just a new feature. And if you wanted to change an account, you would come over here and use a pick list function to do that. All right, now
Sharon, I don't think most of these guys have access to changing accounts. I think some of them.
If you were an administrator for your account and you have branches, you might have that. Okay. So here's the quick order screen, the same way that you're used to if you put in a part number and a quantity, and then add items to the cart. All that's the same. And you still have what we call the import order. And the screens have been updated to this. I'm going to step through one just real quickly. If you have an internal system that allows you to build a purchase order, for example, and you've already built it, you may not want to have to go key all those items in to get them into the Bluebird shopping cart. So if you come through this, and you only have to do this part one time, but you can pick a file type. It could be an Excel spreadsheet. And I'm going to click Continue. And then as long as you can get to that file on the PC that you're running the system on, then it's going to do a simple file search. I'm going to put in the name and click Open. And then I'm going to say Upload the internal file. And it's going to open that file and show it to me. And it's going to show me the columns and what they contain. Now, this could have weight and description and unit of measure and all kind of price, other price information. But the only two pieces of information that this program needs is the part number. So it's going to ask me where that is, and it's in column 1. And then it's going to want to know quantity order, and that's in column 2. And then I'm going to come down here and I click Submit. And then it shows me the data as I've defined it, and it says, is this aligned correctly? And it looks correct, so I'm going to say yes. And it's going to automatically read in the part numbers and put them in the shopping cart. But now it will define any part numbers that don't go in, and it shows those to you. And it then says down here some of the reasons why it might not have gone in. It allows you to print this screen. So that shows you any exceptions. But also you can click View Cart, and boom, all 108 items went into the cart. And you didn't have to rekey anything. So that saves a lot of time. And the cart does show you the line item number, part number, superseded part number, description, price, package, required quantity if there's a cell pack. You can get the notes for the line item, quantity available, pipeline quantity discount. Here's the quantity, and I can change that. If it's in there as 1, I can make it 2. There we go. And it comes down, and here's says the quantity due and how much. And if any of this was committed to a previous order, it would tell you that. And I can update the cart. See, it's highlighted because I did make a change, so I'm going to update the cart. There it goes. Now, there are options down here, and you may have been familiar, but I'm going to step through a couple of these. If I want to, I can save this cart, and it's going to ask me for a name, or I can select a previously saved cart name. So, if I keyed in a name and didn't realize that it matched a name that I had used before, then the system's going to save me. It's going to pop up and say, wait a minute, you already have a cart with that name. Do you want to overwrite it with what you have now and replace it? Or do you want to append the current items to the saved cart? So I could say append, and it would just add to what I already have, and I wouldn't lose anything. In this case, I've already got the same thing, so I'm just going to say overwrite it. And there you go. Now, maybe I do a stock order, and I want that basically the same order. Then I could call this stock and bring it up each time I want to put in an order, and then just change a few of the line items, remove a couple of things, and submit the order, and I don't have to redo it every time. So that's just another possibility. I can export this to an Excel file if I want to save it and use it internally. I can.
Okay.
Yes.
Will this recognize if maybe you doubled up on a part number? Like by accident, maybe you want to order one axle assembly.
The way the program is written is the part number will only appear in the cart once.
Okay.
So that will help with that.
Of however many.
Right. So if you tried to add it again, it would put it, you'd say it was already there and put it in with it. And this, unfortunately, it's not sorted by part number. It is in chronological order as to how the order the items were entered in. I just want to tell you that, too. So if you come down here and click on Finish Order, it's going to bring up the billing and shipping information. Very similar to what you had before, slightly different look. And here's the first and last name, and there's a green check mark or an asterisk next to all the required data entry fields. So here's the customer PO number. Here's my shipping preference list, pick list, ship partial or only complete. Can be a routine order, expedite, or customer pickup. Special instructions or free-form text of anything you want to say. And here, I have to put in the first and last name, because that's missing. You could say same as above or different address, too, down here. But once everything has been entered, then this continue button is available. If there was one field that was missing that's required data entry, you notice that continue button goes away. You can't do it. So everything's there. I'm going to hit continue. And here's my order detail. And this will become my email order confirmation.
Sharon, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
On these carts, now is that specific to the dealership that, you know, it's an on-running thing to our stock order before we place it, or is it per each user ID?
Okay, a cart is saved by the account number plus the user ID.
Okay, so if
So
I've
a
got
cart will belong to the person who entered it.
okay, it's for, so if I run the order bi-weekly when I put in the stock orders, I'd have to pull each person's cart in that dealership.
Yes, but the good part would be is if you're all in the family of accounts, like there's branches or multiple locations,
Right.
then you can be set up so that you can get to each one of those without having to log out and in.
Okay.
You can get to them in one place.
And they all do their own ordering. I'm just concerned
Right.
about individuals, and I've got to pull all their carts in stock order.
Right, and that hasn't changed. But something like that, if you have a request for something to change the way the system's working, we have set this up so that the system is owned, quote unquote, by Scott Sorensen at Bluebird. So he's our point person who passes us requests for program changes and things like that.
Okay.
And so if you have something like that, just put it in an email to Scott, and then he would forward it on to us.
Okay.
And as long as we have...
I would ask all of my folks in the Northeast to, just so that I can track it, send it to me and let me send it to Scott. That way, I can follow up on it and keep track of it. That way we don't have 100 people emailing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so they would go through Tom Frazier, and then he can forward them on. That would be great.
Yeah, that would be best.
Okay, thank you.
And as long as, I'll have a caveat, we'd be glad to do any of the programming changes as long as we have the data to make it happen. So that's the only caveat.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
No, I don't know if it almost sounds like I don't know what I can do about it.
Okay. Now we can either submit the order, we can make a credit card, we can have cash, or we can print the form from here. And then as soon as you submit it, that order gets sent to Bluebird, and it can be processed immediately. Now this is a production system, so I'm not gonna place this order.
Send it to Tom's River.
Yeah, really.
Hey, Tom, we want this UPS red next day, Saturday delivery, please.
Hope you got an open checkbook because it's going to hurt like crazy when the freight comes in.
Yeah, 14,000. That's a sizable order.
Yeah, I have a little question for Tom here. Okay.
Sure.
It's Matthew from Jordan School Buses, and this part is more about purchasing departments. So I was wondering if on the next Monday schedule, next meeting already scheduled on Monday, maybe Julia or Debbie can assist that.
Yeah, absolutely, Matthew. I didn't realize that, number one, that we could only hit 26. Had I realized that, I probably would have, kind of segregated. But since Sharon could do one on Monday, yeah, any of you guys, I would, take a real close look at maybe getting somebody else. But again, if you would, those that are going to do it, please send me a list. That way, if I got 6 from one dealer, I can ask a couple of those guys to back out to get others in, that haven't seen it. So.
Okay, well, it would probably be either Julie or Gabby, so if you can send them the meeting number and all that stuff, so they can log in on Monday.
Absolutely, I sure will.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
You bet.
All right. Another thing I want to get to is the drop ship. I'm going to bring that up. And you're used to seeing what we call logo buttons to access each of the accounts. But we've added a pick list in alphabetical order, so if you know the name of who you want to look for, you can scroll down through here and select it off this list, too. Now, I'm going to come through and I'm going to show you CE White. And I mentioned, when I looked at the Windows Fast Finder, I mentioned the seat cover Fast Finder. Here it is. And the layout of the dropship catalog page is the same, but we've come up with a generic Bluebird type header with a smaller logo for the dropship company. And then here's the main menu, and that's where we're going to find the seat cover. It's under Bessie, and it's under CE White. So you can go through and do that. It's the same kind of option to do that. Or I can come back here and I can work with the regular dropship catalog. And the things in pink are on special. So they're coded that way when you're within the dropship account. And each of the dropship catalogs looks a little different. The radio engineering, I don't know how many use this, but it's going to come up and it has a configurator, we call it, in it. And it allows you to build the kit. So if I come through here, and I can have a number of cameras for this kit. I can slide the bar over, I can have as many as I want, and I can begin. And then it's going to allow me to come through and just pick them.
Do this for every dropship?
No, not all of the dropship programs are set up the way this REI one is. This is probably the exception to every rule.
It should be.
It is.
That's pretty awesome.
Well, I just want to show you that where it was available, we designed and built this one. We worked in conjunction with REI to come up with this.
Yeah, I wish they all looked like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a nice way to work it, I have to say.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so that's the dropship program, how it looks. Now I'm going to come over to status. And here we're going to have a list of open orders. This account I don't think has any. No, it doesn't. So I'm going to come down to order summary. And here they're listed. The internet order number is the order number that Parts123 assigns when you come online to create an order. And then Bluebird assigns their order number and sends all that back to us. And that's how we know that the communication loop is complete. We took it, we sent it to them, and they got it. So it's all good. Here's the order type, the vendor, if it's Bluebird or one of the drop ships. PO number, date, time, who placed the order, number of line items, dollar total, shipping, and PDF. There weren't any for that one. All right. But if I want to click this open, I can look at the order detail. Now this is everything about the order, like what we saw on when the order was first entered, the confirmation. We also have a bill of lading link here, and we also have a new enhancement. If this order were 109 line items, like the cards that we just built, and maybe there were 3 incomplete items on the order, if you click Show Only Incomplete, it would show you only the things that are marked incomplete. You can focus on those. Or you just go back to Show All and it'll show you the entire line item, all the line items. So that's a little bit new here. So that's under the order summary. There's a snapshot of sales totals. This is just a snapshot in time. And it shows for your account, it would be month to date, purchases year to date, percentage that were drop ship versus warehouse, all kinds of information about quotas and year to date. There's a part number order history, and you can key in a specific part number and see which orders it appeared upon. Print invoice credit. Okay, here's the invoice number and the order number. And again, this defaults to this field, but I can come over, and because it's an underline, I can click this and it's going to reorder that. And I can take it back to invoice number order. Now here's the bill of lading number again, just on the summary screen. And I can come through, and we've got UPS and Conway, and if I click this, it's going to take me directly to look at the tracking information, and you'll notice it opens in a separate window, so I don't lose my place where I was. And I come right back.
Now, when we're switching over to this new system, is all of our previous information going to be switched into this system?
Yes, the data has been transferred over.
Excellent.
You'll see these go back through, 2013 and back to previous dates. Okay, now here's where statistics are going to show, too. We have stats by usage and stats by order. If I look at the ones by usage, it's going to come up and it's going to show me, I can pick a specific time frame. I can look at all catalogs together, or I can select like a specific catalog to look at. But the first week, it's going to show me a daily total. Beyond that, it's going to show me weekly totals, then monthly totals, and then yearly totals. So this goes back to the data we had, back as far back as 2010. But it's going to show me the number of users, number of logins, number of searches, VIN number searches or BOM, specials, the number of screens that are looked at, and then it's going to show me on total orders the number of accounts, number of orders, and the total dollars. Now, if I come over here and I look at stats by orders, it's going to roll these up in the order. So it's going to say, here's the number of PDC orders, here's the dropship orders, there's the total cumulative orders, and it'll even tell me how many were uploaded or imported orders. And again, it's in detail by day or week, month, or year. Now, under administrative, here's the customer ID maintenance. Here's where you change your password and fill in your profile. Here's the user agreement. These are the terms and conditions that you agree to when you're using the Bluebird online system. So if there's any rules or anything you need clarification on, that's always available. But if I come in here and look at customer ID, you'll see that everybody gets a user ID with a password and shows their name. But then there's a list of titles that can be assigned. Now these titles were developed by Bluebird for their customers, and that's the dealers. So these are the titles that the dealers can have. And each of these titles carries with it what we call a permission level, or a listing of the screens and the data on the screens that user can see. So there's a difference between what the parts manager can see and a customer staff person or a guest member can see. So as those titles are assigned, that dictates the usage of the system by that person. Then they can also set up price levels that can be seen, if they can see contract prices or if you need to block an order. And there has been confusion about what these titles mean. I'm going to jump over here just to show you under titles and permissions. If I come in here and I look at a dealer title and say I want to look at a parts counter person, then I'm going to look at it and then it's going to show me of all these things like approved credit cards or add items or whatever. It's going to show me whether or not they have access to each of those functions. So when you're setting somebody up, if you're administrative, then you can look at that and determine what you need. Then under announcements, we have the view announcement summary. And this, as you know, they're published and they're maintained on the summary. You go back through, they're by date, and you'll see the subject line and who the author was. You can open them and reread them. Here's the account profile. This sets up the way that your account is using the system. So do you have access to it? Can you order? Can you download the price file? Do you have bill of material access, drop ships, ship overrides? All those parameters are set up under the account profile. User support allows you just to key something and it'll come directly to us and you'll get your question answered. Under download price file, you can select a catalog, and I can come through, and once I do that, The very first time I download a price file, I'm going to have to get the entire thing. But once I've done this, then the next time I come through, I can get only the changes that were made the last time I did it. And you can tell it what kind of file. You can have it in any of these types of file, like delimited or an Excel spreadsheet. And then you just download it, and you can use it any way you want. Now we have return goods are available here. The periodic returns. Any of you who are used to doing the return goods online, all of that feature is on the new system. There's a summary in your history and notifications, email notifications. And here's branch selection. So if you did have an account that has multiple locations or branch locations, you can come through and select this. Then you don't have to log in and out to look at the total picture. So that's your administrative tab. Here's help. Here's the system requirements that we talked about on the login screen. They appear here. Here's warranty information, routing guide. Any of these can be viewed online or printed. UPS freight policies broken out by type. Canadian UPS rates, export rates, how to contact, and then again, like I showed you, the titles and permission.
Excuse me a minute, can you just go back to the branch selection and show me how that works?
Yeah, I'd be happy to, except this account doesn't have branches. So if you wanted to, you'd have to say add a branch, and you can't do that now. So you'd have to, if your account has it though, you would click that and there would be a listing of the branches. And then you could add that.
Who's asking about the branches?
It's Andy to O'Connor's, Tom.
Okay, it didn't sound like you. I was trying to picture. All right. Actually, I'm going to sit down and look at this for all three of you guys. And I got New York Bus. I got a couple dealers that this will benefit. I'm just trying to figure out how we need to get it done. So I'll deal with that with Sharon and then our people a little later. And we'll get this working because I know there's a bunch of you out there that this would benefit tremendously.
Yeah, I'd be glad to work with you on that. It's very helpful because once you log in, then from this, even from the main screen here, you'll say select branch, and you just have a pick list. You come through it, pick it, and then everything you look at is going to be pertaining to that branch. And you don't have to log out and into different account numbers. So if anybody thinks they need that, they can contact Tom. Okay, well, this is a lot of new to look at. Do you all have, maybe you'll have a chance, hopefully, please take a chance. When Tom sends you the login information, please get on and play with the system. Start using it. You can't break it. Not permanently, anyway. If you find anything wrong, you can let us know right away. But we've been testing it, working with it for a number of months. So if there's do you have any questions now in terms of something I missed?
Well, Sharon, I'm going to answer the first one. If I remember correctly, I heard that this goes live for these folks on Monday. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So Monday we can log on, good to go.
Yes, and for all of you guys that are mine, I will be in the office at the beginning of next week. So if you have problems, yell at me, and we'll try and get you cleared up.
And Tom, are you sending them a link to the login page?
Yeah, I sent them a link with on the meeting invite.
Okay.
But if anybody didn't get it and needs to drop me a message, I'll be more than happy to send it.
Okay. Well, we really are trying to make this a one-stop shop so you can get all the information you need. Things have been added. So give us your feedback.
anybody have any immediate questions, or but like I said, as you think, whatever you think about it, just drop it to us. We're more than happy to get an answer for you.
Real quick, will the old service part system be gone as soon as this is implemented, or?
You talking about the gray screen?
Yes, yep.
It is not going away.
Okay.
It will always be there. You're still going to have the service parts catalog. As a matter of fact, while we're talking about that, as you know, right now you have a wristband type jump drive that was given to you about a year ago. Okay. This system will be updated with those new page sets and such. I heard, Sharon, am I correct in saying monthly or weekly, or where was that? I thought I heard monthly.
I think it's monthly, but that could be anything that Bluebird asks us to do. So if it's dynamic enough, they could make it weekly, but I think it's starting as monthly.
Okay, but yeah, I mean, at least if we're looking at it monthly, it's better to have it in a month than wait 12 months to get an updated page set. But I guess the only part of this that's going to end up going away would be the old side, or for all of you, or most of you guys, the current Parts123 that you're using. Once you get bumped onto this system, that one's going to kind of go away for you. But still, all the information that's on the old system is on the new system. I mean, tabs are the same, functionality is the same. Good form function is the same. It's got and then again, the cataloging, it's the same type of lookup. It's just a little different how you get there.
So if need be, you're to hold on to our key fobs and all that jazz.
Oh yeah, don't get rid of those key fobs until we tell you to.
Okay. But like I said, they'll still work. They'll keep rotating the numbers and.
Absolutely.
But do try to find everything you can in the new system, so that you can point out, what isn't there that you would really like to have.
Like I said, any requests, my guys, if you can, just send them to me. That way, I can funnel everything through. Because if you're asking for it, chances are somebody else could benefit, and they may or may not ask for it. So once we decide whether it's useful or not, if we do it, I have to broadcast it back to all of you. I've had many of suggestions that, hey, as changes are being made to the system, no matter how minute or how large, let's make everybody aware that they're coming. So, if it is something that we're going to change, that way I can keep you guys in the loop kind of ahead of time.
Yeah, I have a question for Sharon here.
Sure.
Can you go back into BOM search, please?
Yes.
Just type in a body number, whatever.
Alrighty.
Because in the old, gray catalog we're using with the bill of materials, we also have another screen that tells us how the bus is built. Like, for example, where each windows are installed, what rub rails we have, and what are the body sections and everything. Do we have the same thing there? Or we only have the material itself?
The production order is not on Parts123 as of yet. I know there was some talk about adding it to it. But that's kind of the biggest reason at this point is if you need the option list, at this point you're going to have to go back to the gray screen to get that one.
But a gray screen is still going to be available after this one is released, right?
Oh yeah. The gray screen's not going away. You'll still use your key fob to get in. You'll still have all that fit form and functionality. Yes.
Okay.
I get a question. When we log into the system come Monday, does that mean the other 123 is gone?
It's gone to you. Your user ID won't work on the other one then.
Okay, so when we log on to this new one, then the other screen will be gone.
Right. But as Tom said, all of the data is going to be here. All of your history, all of your orders, all of your data is on the new system.
Sharon, if I have two logins, I'm going to pick on New York Bus Chittenango here. If I have Rob with the login and Gary with the login, if Rob logs in, it takes his user functionality away. But if Gary didn't log into the new system yet, can Gary still get on the old system?
Yes, because it's controlled by user ID.
Okay, that was what I was asking earlier, and I think I messed that one up.
Yeah, so it goes by password, because, yeah, we have 2 branches, too, so.
Yeah, so if you want to play a little bit, take one of you and log into the new system and leave the old system, leave another login for the old system. So I misunderstood that. For any of you that I told that, my apologies.
Okay.
But the hope is that you'll feel comfortable with the new system and move that way, because there will come a time when Bluebird's going to turn the old one off.
Oh, I know, but it's so nice to have both if you can.
Well, as you get started, as you get started.
Yeah, I think once they get into the new one, they ain't going to worry about going back to the old one.
Right.
They won't. No.
Anybody else with questions, comments, concerns?
Well, Tom, it's Matthew from Jordan. Again, just want to make sure you send the invitation for next meeting on Monday to Gibby and Angelica. There are a lot of purchasing there, so I want to make sure they know all the new stuff that's there, because I don't know about it.
Okay, I absolutely will, Matthew. Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate your all's time. If you think of anything, my email address is Sharon, SHARON, at parts123.com, and Tom always knows how to get in touch with me.
Yeah, we've talked more in the last couple of days than we have in the last year or two.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, I hope you all enjoy your weekend, and I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you.
Thank you.